Every single morning for 7 days the beagle did the same thing. The moment Claire reached for that one specific jar of baby food, Biscuit was there blocking her, barking once and grabbing her wrist so gently it didn't leave a mark. Daniel said it was obvious. He's jealous, he wants to be the baby. Claire wasn't so sure. A jealous dog ignores the baby. Biscuit never took his eyes off him. The first time it happened, Claire almost missed the pattern. Noah was 8 months old, his first real food. Claire pulled his high chair to the kitchen window like always because he liked the light. Biscuit was in his usual spot by the back door. 3 years old, 25 pounds of white, brown, and black. A beagle with ears too big for his head and eyes that seemed to be calculating something. He'd been Daniel's dog before Noah was born, before everything changed. The jealousy had started the day Claire brought Noah home. Small things at first. Biscuit pushing his nose between Claire's arm and Noah during feeding time, dropping his favorite toy at Daniel's feet during every bath, pressing himself against Claire's legs the moment she sat down with the baby. Normal jealousy, every dog book said so. Daniel had laughed about it. He thinks he's been replaced. Claire had agreed. She wasn't so sure anymore. Claire set the bowl on the tray, dipped the spoon, brought it toward Noah's open mouth. Biscuit stood up, walked directly to the high chair, positioned his body between Claire and Noah, and barked once. Sharp, deliberate, not at Noah, at the bowl. Biscuit, no. Claire nudged him aside. Go lie down. Biscuit moved, but he didn't lie down. He stood 3 feet away and watched, his nose working frantically, his eyes on the bowl. Claire gave Noah his first spoonful. Noah made a face, then opened his mouth for more. Biscuit made a low sound that almost barked that wasn't quite a bark. Claire ignored it. Daniel came home to find Biscuit sitting outside the nursery door. What's wrong with him? He did something strange at dinner. Claire told him about the high chair, the bark, the positioning. Daniel looked at Biscuit. Biscuit looked at Daniel. Jealousy, Daniel said. Classic. He was my dog before Noah. Now he feels replaced. He has his own food. He never touches Noah's. He doesn't want the food. He wants the attention. Daniel scratched Biscuit behind the ears. Aren't you jealous, buddy? Biscuit didn't lean into the scratch. He turned back to the nursery door and stayed there. Daniel watched him. See? Obsessed with the baby. Textbook jealousy. Claire looked at Biscuit, those dark, steady eyes fixed on the nursery. Not resentful, not territorial. Watchful. She didn't say anything, but she didn't agree. Day 3, same thing. Claire set the bowl on the tray. Biscuit was there before the spoon, positioned, blocking that one sharp bark. Claire tried a different food, sweet potato puree. Biscuit walked back to his spot by the door, lay down. Not a sound. Claire looked at him, then at the sweet potato, then at the cereal bowl she'd set aside. She picked up the cereal bowl. Biscuit was on his feet before she reached the high chair. Same position, same bark. She put the bowl down. Biscuit lay down. She picked it up again. Biscuit stood up. She stood completely still. It's just this, she said quietly. Not to Daniel, not to Noah, to herself. Only this one. Day 4. Daniel watched from the kitchen doorway. Claire trying the cereal. Biscuit blocking. He's acting out, Daniel said. He wants more attention. That's all this is. Watch him, he doesn't do it with anything else. Because the cereal is what you give Noah. More association, more jealousy. Claire said, watch him. Daniel watched. Claire set the cereal aside, brought out the pear puree. Biscuit didn't move. Brought out the carrot puree. Biscuit didn't move. Reached for the cereal. Biscuit was at the high chair in 3 steps. Daniel's jaw tightened. Coincidence. Every single time. Only this jar. Never anything else. Daniel didn't answer. But that night he sat at the kitchen table with his laptop. Beagle jealousy. Beagle behavior problems. Beagle food obsession. He didn't find what he was looking for because he wasn't asking the right question. One more time, Daniel said before bed. One more time he blocks you and I'm calling the trainer. If the trainer can't fix it, he goes. Claire looked at Biscuit asleep by the back door. Okay, she said quietly. She didn't mean it. Day 5. Biscuit ignored the cereal entirely. He spent the whole morning following Daniel around the house, dropping his toy at his feet, pressing against his legs. Daniel looked at Claire with an expression that said everything. See? Claire said nothing. She was watching the cereal box on the counter. Biscuit hadn't looked at it once. Something was different today. She just didn't know what. Day 6. Claire sat at the kitchen table after Noah was asleep. The cereal box in front of her, Biscuit beside her. His nose raised toward the box, that same focused expression he had every morning. Claire turned the box over, read the ingredients again. Nothing obvious. She put it down, looked at Biscuit. "What is it?" she said quietly. Biscuit looked at the box, then at her, then at the box again. Claire picked up her phone. She didn't know what she was looking for. She just knew she had to find it. Day 7. Claire put the cereal on the tray. Biscuit was there instantly, blocking that low, urgent sound. Claire reached past him, picked up the spoon. Biscuit did something he had never done before. He took her wrist in his mouth so gently it didn't leave a mark, just held it, his eyes looking up at hers. Not aggressive, not jealous. Desperate. Claire stood completely still. She looked at her wrist in his mouth, at those dark, steady eyes, at the dog who had done this every single day for 7 days. Only with this food, never with anything else. She put the spoon down. "Okay," she said quietly. "Okay." She picked up the bowl, walked to the sink, poured it down the drain. Biscuit watched until it was gone, then walked back to his spot, lay down, closed his eyes like something had finally been resolved. "You're overreacting," Daniel said that evening. "I want Noah tested for peanuts because the dog grabbed your wrist, because Biscuit has blocked that specific cereal every single day for 7 days. Only that one, never anything else." Daniel looked at Biscuit. Biscuit was asleep by the back door. "And if the test comes back negative, then I'm wrong and you can say so." Daniel was quiet for a long time. "Fine," he said. "We'll test him." Dr. Sarah Chin ran the skin prick test. Then she called Claire into her office. "Mrs. Thompson," she said, "your son has a severe peanut allergy." Claire sat completely still. "How severe?" "Anaphylactic. Even trace exposure could trigger a life-threatening reaction." Dr. Chin paused. "The cereal you mentioned may contain traces. That would have been enough." Claire pressed her hand flat on the desk. "He had 3 spoonfuls on the first day." Dr. Chen looked at her steadily. "Reactions aren't always immediate with first exposure. The immune system sensitizes first. The second exposure is typically when the reaction occurs." She paused. If he had continued eating that cereal, the next reaction could have been severe. The room tilted. Claire thought of Biscuit. Day 1, day 3, day 7. That wrist held so gently it didn't leave a mark. A dog can smell peanut protein in concentrations humans can't begin to detect, Dr. Chin said quietly. Beagles especially. They're used by the USDA for exactly this kind of detection. She looked at Claire. "Your dog knew before any test could tell you." Claire couldn't speak. She thought of Daniel. Jealousy. Classic. Textbook. "I almost moved him out of the kitchen." She whispered. Dr. Chin reached across the desk. "You didn't? That's what matters." Daniel was in the kitchen when Claire got home. She told him everything. He didn't speak. He looked at Biscuit watching the back door doing his job. Daniel crossed the kitchen slowly, got down on one knee in front of the beagle. Biscuit turned and looked at him. Those dark, steady eyes, that nose that had known everything from the beginning. "I called it jealousy," Daniel said quietly, "every single day. And you were protecting him the whole time." Biscuit pressed his nose against Daniel's hand. Daniel's shoulders shook once. He put his hand on the dog's head and held it there. From the baby monitor on the counter came a sound. "Noah, awake." Claire went to him, picked him up, carried him to the kitchen. Noah saw Biscuit and his whole face changed. He reached out with both arms, straining forward, his mouth forming a sound. "Base," he said. His first word. "Not mama, not dada." "Biscuit." Daniel pulled Claire close. Noah still reaching for Biscuit. Biscuit already there.